iTeLearn. Thank you so much for joining in. This session, we're going to talk a lot about our upcoming Core Java Developer Program and how we intend to take that forward. Uh, this is part of our JPACT overall initiative, our Job Placement and Certified Training with iTeLearn. What you would see are a few slides relevant to JPACT. Since we have covered these in the earlier sessions, I'm going to quickly forward to our relevant topic on Java. But I'm going to go through the slides more on mute because once I start talking about them, there's a lot of things. So I kindly request everyone to go back and look at the JPACT 6 orientation session, and where I've spoken about how we take you from wherever you are in your career, your core training, certification, live projects, finishing grooming, and then your job placement and work support, this entire program. And within this program, how we are digging deep into these four verticals. I want to spend maybe a couple of minutes on this slide as this becomes very, very key, team. And I will try and also use a highlighter to talk about this. So team, the most important aspect of what we are learning today is core Java, all right? And that is the orientation session. So if you're someone looking to learn Java or interested in it, this is the right platform to know more about it. Now, one of the biggest applications or usage of Java as a programming language, very ironically came to go with software testing. When the companies and projects have started to move and see the value to go from manual to automation, that is especially Selenium, Java started to become popular again for automation side. And in fact, my re-exposure to Java happened about 8-9 years ago, thanks to Selenium and the fact that, till then, uh, I was still in software testing, but not in the development side. Now, for a lot of us, you would have experienced Java as a word in this audience, maybe because you're from the testing background or inclined to get into software testing. So from a software tester's perspective, I'm going to talk briefly, and I'll talk about in general as a Java developer. Who is a Java developer and what kind of a market we have? So we'll get into that. But let me address the core audience on software testing. It's very simple, team. In the whole aspect of what I see, the only difference between your job and not finding the right job within software testing, okay, overall, is one word of four alphabets, Java. That's it, J-A-V-A. There's no other reason. So what that means is if you give focus to this programming language the way I teach you, not to answer interview questions as a subject, as a concept where you become an authority, and you spend that 3 weeks with me in mastering this, you will become an amazing software test engineer. You getting what I'm saying, team? So in this whole slide, I'm talking these four blocks. If you know manual testing, okay, you know what? That's fine. It's a given. Everyone can know manual testing. It's easy. Selenium, wow, okay, that's nice. That's special because that's automation. We're looking at you from that perspective. SDET, what is SDET as a definition? Software development engineer in test. So it's a development engineers who move to testing. Or now I say that, okay, software engineers, do you want to move to this SDET, very premium role? Then there are a few more non-programming, it's not really coding, but tools and technologies and concepts that helps developers build better applications, and talks about continuous integration, continuous delivery, absolutely critical in today's agile world. All right. So even SDET can be achieved. The only thing I've seen most of my students getting one factor of fear is programming language and the fear of it. Now, there are different aspects to how we can look at this. But there's one thing I will guarantee and promise. You go through this 15 steps that we will do in Java, and you practice and finish the tests that we give you. If you're at a level 0 on a scale of 0 to 10, you will guaranteedly come to at least a level 5 within 3 weeks. There's no question. You spend 3 more months on a project, you will get to level 6, 6.5, which is then, really something that, okay, as a Java developer market will start recruiting you. You take any skill team in the whole slide that you see, it definitely each skill have its market and you can make it. There's no question. Okay. So for example, look below, there's Hadoop, there's Tableau, there's Catalan, there's SOAP UI, .NET, there's plenty of it. But you will see that Java is somehow very common. It's been one of the oldest surviving, still very powerful platform. So what I want to summarize, if you're in QA, software testing or automation, if you pick up Java, you're miles ahead of your team members. Remember that. Still, software test engineers are unable to migrate to software coding just because of a mindset that, you know what, like, I don't like maths, I don't like coding. Some kind of a thing there. For me, coding is a process, step by step. There is no reason why someone can't make it. You will. Now, you choose where you want to go. I will show you how we can get there. Now, why I say Java, why not the other programming languages? From my perspective, as you keep going, let's say Python, if someone has to learn today, maybe they can start with Python. They don't have to learn Java or something. There's nothing as a prerequisite. Every language by itself can be learned and it's got a great potential. The reasons why Java, we'll talk about it in a few seconds. So team, giving you perspective, especially for SDETs, QA engineer, how important it is for you that this training happens. So even if you know Selenium, manual testing, best of tools, SDET, don't know Java, you're still at least $15 per hour lesser than what a good automation engineer can bring. I'm not going to focus too much on these aspects for now. Let's go straight and see what we have as an agenda. Okay. I don't think we wrote any topics within Java, and I'm going to erase this. Let me take, sorry, I have to have a sip of water. The few questions are hands raised. Let me check if everyone is good. Team, all good so far? Audience? So I've got a yes from a few of you. I'm going to consider that and move on. All right, great. Thank you so much. I'm going to open up another notepad, team, quickly. And let's talk about Java in general. We've heard about it so much. I think I want to give it a very different perspective. I'll talk about how I know Java. So you will be able to maybe associate it with, okay, this is interesting or not. Okay. All right, team. So professionally, 1990 is when I finished my computer science engineering, and I started working right after. There were two amazing opportunities, team. One was event-driven SQL development for an ERP product development company. Other was pure Java, core Java. All right. And I wanted the second, but luckily I got from the first company in my campus and I took that. But what happened, even after joining the first company, I still didn't give up on Java personally. This is again way back in 98. And now for me to enter back this other company where Java as a technology was focused was mainly for one reason, not that their pay is more or they have better facilities or on-site opportunities. This is in 1998 team when I started working in Hyderabad. These were the first two multinationals. There was no other multinational at that time. So with all that, it was very interesting for me. Why did I want to move from one multinational to the other? The only reason was Java was an upcoming technology, and one second team, and it was going to really give me a career boost for a long term. So I wanted to safeguard my professional career and go with Java in 98 and make a career switch so that I can be fine for the next 10, 15 years. See, it was actually, when I look at myself, I was pretty young, but that was a wise decision that, okay, good. Because even now, my counterparts, some of my classmates from engineering are still Java developers and they enjoy it. They don't want to get into management or anything. They don't mind just being Java architects with 20 years experience. Now, so what did I do? I didn't have a qualification. So now to go from the company A to B, they asked me, okay, work X was just 3 months, not relevant. And then technology stack was different. So there's nothing convincing. What was my option? I went and applied for Sun Certified Java Developer course. All right. And it was a program that I took up in Hyderabad and I got trained. And then I went to write that exam. It was a 75 percentile or something like that cutoff at that time, team. And I'm not sure if the word also is correct. And I got exactly 74%. Like I just failed. And it kind of broke my heart. It got very disappointed. And I didn't have a way back to get into Java. Now I question my own ability that, okay, maybe I'm a good developer, but the examination doesn't make tell me I'm certified. So my confidence also dropped. And I went back to that event driven SQL. No regrets. My career flew in various directions. Then again in 2008, when I started to work with HP QTP, it was just VB script for me. So I almost left technology in 2001, team. That was the last time I did any coding. And from 2001 till 2008, I was all doing IT, account management, and business development for large Indian IT organizations. So though I was managing multiple technologies and projects, I was not hands-on. So I was very hands-off. In 2008, thanks to some of the projects that I was doing and iTeLearn, I got exposed to VB script. It was pretty easy for me to learn. So when I learned VB script as a programming, it took me time because I had to learn for a purpose of mastering, because I had to get into the teaching mode as well. And then came up Selenium. And they said, you know what, but Selenium requires Java. I said, oh my goodness, okay, now I have to go back 10 years to a failure zone where I built a successful career after that, and then redo. So it was still a nightmare, team. That fear didn't die. But I did one thing, team. I just spent 3 nights, I kind of 3 days and nights, just studying, researching, basic. I didn't go deep. I just went basic. And I didn't even look at definitions. So if someone asks me what is polymorphism or any kind of jargonish thing in Java, I may be like this. But as a concept, I can be a great architect. I can even create. The reason is I stayed with my fundamentals for way too long in my learning. I did not jump to all topics. Why? Because Java is an ocean. All right. So unless you get a good start, which is very simple, you cannot do anything about it. You will get to see it's so complicated and it will really surprise you. Now, there is a caution specifically for SDETs, SDETs and QA engineers. Okay. Um, when you do your Selenium IDE script export, right, to let's say Java JUnit 4 WebDriver code, the whole output that comes, then you take it and put it into the Eclipse after creating a new Java project and start working. You already have 200 lines maybe of code created. Okay. And by the time you understand the 200 lines, okay, you know what, I give up. This is the caution. This is where you give up. Why? Because wrong start. Now I'll tell you, there's the only 4 steps to mastering any programming language. I'm talking about coding. Okay. Now, this is something very consistently I've been teaching my students over the last years. Okay, programming language. What are the 4 steps, team? Your step 1 is you drop everything and do only one thing. Read the code. That's it. You do not touch. You don't write. Don't go for your hello world and all that. Take a code and read it. Understand what it is. Don't do anything else. Okay. The second thing you do is modify small changes. Like what? change A to B or change a value of 10 to 20 and see what happens. You will understand the logic behind the execution, the runtime, how that engine works. Then what you do is start writing small code from zero or scratch. Now you start writing. So you almost spend about a week, 1 week, reading code. How does it go? What is happening? Okay, let me read. Let me read. And there's a bigger science behind why I'm saying read. There is something that I personally have been doing as 20 years of development is I run it in my mind first before I let the system do. System slash program, same thing. What does it mean, team? When I read through it, I will know exactly how does Java as a programming language execute it. So my communication is perfect with Java. I don't need Java compiler to actually tell me if the code is right or not. I'm so good at my fundamentals. If I start looking at the code, I can read it correctly and I can master it. That is the reason. You spend time looking at it. I'll show you. I'll keep writing. You just watch it. Okay. Whatever I wrote, you'll keep doing the changes on that. What is the fourth thing then you do? Write small code from scratch, experiment, play around. Don't worry. Failures, just love them. Because there's only one thing that will teach you more than any other tutor or blogs in this world, team. That is your runtime error. You get your runtime errors or syntax errors. There are two types of errors we'll get to in Java. You run a program and oops, something went wrong. You don't know where or what. You have to go and figure out. That will teach you phenomenally how to improve programming. And then fourth, slowly increase the complexity and start from one. Why again start from one? Because you increase the complexity, don't jump again. Let's say you're going to get into Java Beans or Swings or anything with which is latest of Java. There are so many platforms. Take it again from that. Okay, I know the basics of coding Java. Now, even if someone introduces a for loop, I want to read it first. Do not jump to hit. So there's a lot of culture of let's read the code, let's understand and run it in our brain. Only then. In fact, we get to such a level where I write the entire code in my mind, then I go quickly write it in a notepad, copy that, paste it in Eclipse IDE. It should match. That's like it. It's like fun. It's like a game that we keep doing and see how much it's matching and then execute. While you get the right result, then you're super happy. You ask any programmer team, unless there are project pressures and so on, if they're given programming a real challenge to create and build something, they will love the job. They will just love it. That's how deep it is. But these are the 4 simple steps to it, and that is how we will start going. Now, like I said, caution, we saw 200 lines, we got scared. When we start our day 1 to, let us assume about day 6, will be our first Java project. How many lines will we start from? Maybe 5 lines and go till maybe about 50, 100 lines. All right. But in this, you will get introduced to all those basic things, like what is a flow of a thing? How does the Eclipse IDE look? All right, how do you debug your script? How do you get assistance, let's say, in creating Java projects? Okay, and somewhere down we'll talk about jars. Okay, we'll not complicate it too much, we'll keep it there. Java projects, Java classes. All right, and then we'll have to get into programming. How does a program look? That your typical hello world team thing. And then you go about understanding things like import of what you need to import and little bit of a packages. Not very complicated at all, team. The whole thing will just sizzle down very easily. Okay, now comes the whole concept of simple programming languages. Variables, what are they? Okay, and then functions, what are they? Or methods, what we can call them. What are conditions? statements, or what are loops? What do they do? Any programming language, this will be common theme. But the first thing that Java did way back in 94, 95, I believe when it came out, is it introduced the concept of oops. And that is phenomenally changed how we visualize and look at things. That is our object-oriented programming system, right? Once you know this approach and the logic and relate to it, your standard, you will be phenomenally well set. This will be our typical schedule for day 1 to day 16. Now, from day 7, let us say, and this is one project that we will do, start from 5 lines, go all the way to 50 to 100 lines. Our day 7 to, let us say, day 14 or day 15 will be another project. Now, this time we will choose to see what are the advanced Java concepts that we will look at and to what extent. But for sure, it will be much more complex. So it is XX complex for us. All right. And this, we will already start with maybe, again, we may start with 5 lines. Actually, we'll start with, when I say 5 lines, team, I think I can write a Java program with 5 lines. That'll still run. Yeah, we can squeeze it about 5 to 10 lines. And then this time, we're going to take it maybe to about 250 lines of code. See how many lines of code. And as you go through that nomenclature and becoming, we'll talk about, you know what, I just wrote 200 lines of code today and perfect, they ran. Hardly any, 3 warnings, 0 defects. First time ran and executed, awesome. You will see this like towards coding and technology will continue to go deep and deep, even through the millennials, even the kids and younger generations. Maybe it'll be more towards AI related and so on, but the thinking will be the same team. Now, the reason I'm keeping advanced topics still open is it is wide. Let us be wise about choosing what do we take. All right. Now, this is all part of the training team. Once we get into live projects, we have plenty of work. Okay, there's internships. You prove your forte there. You have tests and assessment that we want to regularly keep doing. So you are getting ready for things. You have your certifications, Oracle, and so on, that we could guide and help you build as you keep going as a Java. So see, what I've done is Selenium I've separated. We will learn that to whatever extent, but then Java, let's learn it as Java. Let's all focus once on that as a language. You have your certifications from Oracle to get, or look at other things. These things, resume, oops, sorry, the whole JPack will come. How do I undo? Oh yeah, I'm pressing the wrong key in this keyboard. The whole JPack thing will start coming team. So here's our training, what we will do, and you will be doing a lot of hands-on. The only thing, unlike other software technologies to learn, when it comes to programming, and when I'm saying programming, any of these, one second, any of these here in this list, you will need really to practice a lot, team. You cannot get off. So practice. That's it. And in an interview, people are very smart, even if they're just 3-4 years experience in Java. They're wise enough to know within the first 5 minutes, do you have the core or not? So fundamentally, team, this is my statement about what it is. My experience with Java has been phenomenally different. And right now, I'm so glad that because of ENIOT and few of the projects that we're doing with Atomic 77, my exposure to Java as a programming language has never died. At least I get to program once or twice a week or look at a code, go through it. There is so much interest. So it is total hands-on team. So the core fundamentals where you get started, where you feel very confident, is your day 1 to day 6. Okay, I'm going to make it extremely easy, team. Then you show me your interest level, and you can either continue to go advanced or just stay here and then go deeper into maybe software test automation. Okay, so To become a great QA automation engineer, you don't need to go into very advanced topics yet, team. You can take it step by step. Honestly, you will learn everything within the first 1 month, okay? But it'll take you about 3 months, let's say 1 month learning, 2 months of one of our live projects. You will be then comfortable, team. Do not think that 2 weeks I'll learn Java. You will learn Java, but you cannot earn in Java. Give a minimum of 3 months, a chances will start opening. All right. Now, I think I've covered almost all of what I wanted to. Any questions now from the audience that I can take? And I didn't get a single question during the session, so I'm assuming audio, visual, everything was fine. And I'm glad that I had 2 sessions before this. One was QA and Selenium, and then Java. So I knew that the fear level was also gradually increasing that way for each of you. But I was very confident because it is so easy to learn programming. Believe me, the world has just made it complicated. And in fact, let me caution you on one more thing. Okay. Again, the same for SDETs. All right. This is for SDETs. All right. Two is there is, okay, save your job thing. All right. So people try and act smart all the way to bad attitude politically. Saving their job is their only interest. It's a very bad criticism. I know that typically people and they do not, but what I've seen is because of the competition in IT world, this is common. We try and protect our job because uh, the first industry where we got exposed to yellow slips getting fired and um, good potential of failure and success. Now, the automation scripts were deliberately made complex. I used to flip and phenomenally, I didn't know, I didn't have words. Why is it that we wrote this 8,000 lines of complex world's best Java code to execute these 30 stupid test cases? And that automation engineer was sitting in a corner, had best of the systems, and I went in deep dived, and then I realized even that engineer acquired that code from someone else was working. End of it is very simple, team. Whatever you have heard about Java, whatever people have showed to scare you about Java is absolutely incorrect. It is one of the most sweetest, most simplest things to learn. In, I would say, even more simpler than anything like mathematics, or it is pretty simple. So drop your fear. And the timing I told you, 4 weeks just to get started, 3 weeks to really be job ready for Java. Okay, 3 months, sorry. You need to spend time, team. See, I'm not saying 3 months with 8 hours a day, 3 months of at least 2 hours a day on Java. You add that with automation and so on, 4 hours a day, 3 months of time, the total JPAC program or SDET is perfectly suited. I'm good, team, from my perspective in terms of coverage of what I want to do. When we start with day 1 to day 6, what we will do and so on is here. What is the project? I will start talking in the day 1. Any questions? Let me know, or I can close the session then. There's a question on timing, if the timing is the same for the regular session also. On the timing aspect, team, give us a couple of days. We want to be able to connect and ensure with our members who join registrants, which is the most suitable time. So we will reach out to you, kind of analyze that and put the right thing together. But as a team, we are involved. Here's what we're doing. We are running the sessions guaranteed twice. One is live, second is repeat with live Q&A. So where we can still be there to address. In short, we will try and seamlessly help you out. and the timing will be challenged sometimes for some of you, but we've got solutions for that too. All right, perfect. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Wish you all the best. I hope that the least I could do was motivate you towards that. Anything that I showed you is not complex. You could do it. Just sit tight, go through the right structure, be it self-paced learning or be part of iTeLearn. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Take care. See you then. Bye now.